I was skeptical about the 2022 Toyota Corolla Cross XLE all-wheel drive that I've had for this last week, but you know what? I actually ended up really liking it. It is, just as the name describes, a Corolla Cross, kind of crossed with an SUV. It's what you get if what you want is a Corolla that's a little bit lifted, has some extra room, a nice hatch. It's basically like a mini RAV4 based on the Corolla, and that's not such a bad thing. The Corolla is a good car, and this Corolla Cross was really nice to drive. It's not particularly exciting, it's not fast, but that's probably not why you're buying a car like this. You're buying this because it's affordable, it's economical, it gets great gas mileage, it's safe, it has nice standard features, it has everything you'd need for just a basic, not basic, but a nice transportation vehicle that's just great for transportation, that's not going to break the bank, and that's going to be nice to drive. So let me tell you a little bit more about the exterior. We'll go through the interior real quick, and we'll go for a little drive, and I'll show you all the things that I really liked and a couple things that I maybe didn't love quite so much about the 2022 Toyota Corolla Cross XLE all-wheel drive. So coming up into the front grille area, I have the headlights here because it is starting to get a little bit darker, a little low on light, but it is really beautiful right now with the sun setting. But you do have nice LED headlights that does say Corolla Cross here, and that's a nice little Easter egg for you. I think the front end looks really good. I love the grille and the headlight design. The fog lights down there I think look really good. You've got nice machined finish wheels. And overall, I think it's just a nice angle. You kind of have this curve right here and this curve right here. These opposing little curves that I think make it look really nice. Here it is from the rear angle. Looks good. I love the tail lights. Cool little lines in them. And it's just a really nice size. Again, just slightly smaller than a RAV4, and I think it's really well designed. Coming into the Toyota Corolla Cross, it's about what you'd expect. It looks very similar to the Toyota Corolla. It's pretty compact. It's not particularly spacious, but these seats, I just really like Toyota's seats. I had the 4Runner recently, and that was also equipped with some really comfortable seats. You have these nice gauges with this center screen. If I start it up here, there's the startup sequence. You got your tach over here. Your miles per hour is just shown there in the middle. You've got your fuel gauge and your temperature gauge. You've got your center screen with the typical Toyota infotainment screen, the typical Toyota. And again, it looks better on my phone, but in real life, the backup camera is pretty fuzzy. But if you're familiar with the Corolla and its interior layout, this is going to look pretty familiar to you. But overall, I think it's just the right size. Coming down into the middle of the center stack, you have heated seats, high and low setting. You've got your USB. It is wired Apple CarPlay. You've got a wireless charger that does a decent job. A small little cubby here, as you can see, you can fit a few things. Tiny little switch for your parking brake and your hold, and then tiny little cup holders. Although I did have a pretty large fountain drink and it held it just fine. Legroom, it's comfortable, guys. Like, up front, I think it's great. And Toyota's done a nice job with the cockpit of the Toyota Corolla Cross. Coming into the back, nothing crazy, no real door pockets for storage or anything like that. You do have a little cup holder here by the switch. Hopefully you don't spill anything in there. But here's the back seat. It's slightly tighter than I was expecting, but it's not bad. Me sitting behind myself, I have enough room to be comfortable. I don't know if I want to be back here long term, but it's fine. With my daughter's front-facing car seat, and she also had just enough room. She wasn't kicking my wife's seat up here in the front at all, and it was just enough. So if you have two kids, I think you're going to be just fine. You also have center armrest that folds down with your cup holders. You've got your rear seat vents, and you do, tucked down here, have your charging ports. So pretty nice. Again, it's just the right size. Coming into the cargo area, you have your JBL subwoofer, very cool. Coming into the cargo area, it's pretty spacious. It's not huge, but again, just the right amount of space for holding probably more than what you need. Your JBL subwoofer here. Obviously the seats fold down, gives you a lot more space. You can fit a bike back there, you know, your adventure gear. With the XLE, you have the touch button down, and there you have it. All right, so let's start it up and go for a drive. Again, this is the 2022 Toyota Corolla Cross XLE all-wheel drive. This one finds itself right in about the middle of the pack as far as the trims go for the Toyota Corolla Cross. You can get it with the hybrid. This is not the hybrid. This puts out just about 200 horsepower, and it's nothing too crazy. And it could definitely stand for a little bit more power. I'll give you a little acceleration test here for in a second. And it's also equipped with the CVT. So I haven't driven a CVT in a while. Well, I guess I have, but I feel like they're getting less common, interestingly enough. I haven't quite fallen in love with them yet, but they kind of speak for themselves if it's fuel economy, if that's what you're after. I have been averaging just under 30 miles to the gallon, which I think is pretty good. And for this segment, I think it's competitive. You can get the hybrid if you want, and you'll get even better. But for this naturally aspirated little 4-cylinder, here we go. Pedal to the metal, guys. Hold on. I think this is rated 0 to 60 in like 9.3 seconds or something. So definitely on the pokier end of things. Haven't driven a car quite this pokey for a while. Again, pedal to the metal here. 20 miles an hour, 30, 40. Woo! There we go. So it's not going to blow your mind, but it's certainly not even going to get your heart rate going. But it's like just barely enough for this car. Here we go, up another hill. Pedal to the metal. It'll get you there. It just won't be very eventful. Acceleration aside, the transmission does a pretty decent job of getting power where it needs to be. And again, these things are intended for maximizing fuel efficiency, and I think it does a pretty good job with that. Aside from the drivetrain components with acceleration and the transmission and everything else, this is a pleasant place to be. It handles like pretty well. The ride is comfortable. These seats are comfortable. Braking feels good. I mean, if you're just looking for just a standard piece of transportation where you're going to be comfortable, get good gas mileage, and have just a pretty, enjoyable, low stakes, low drama kind of, driving experience, I think you're going to really enjoy the Corolla Cross. And I can see, obviously, they sell a ton of Corollas, and I bet they're going to sell even more of these because we're obsessed with, SUVs and crossovers here in the United States. And so, yeah, I would expect that it'll be a very, very popular choice for buyers in the Toyota lineup. So a couple other things that I haven't quite loved, just to be aware of. These are not deal breakers by any stretch, but this is the second time in a week that I've been in a Toyota with their Syntex, their synthetic leather, and boy, it does not breathe at all. To be honest with you, I can't remember the last time that my back got this sweaty. Sorry if that's gross, but I can't remember a time when my back got this sweaty in a vehicle. I wish it was at least perforated. It'd be even better if it was ventilated. And I mean, I'd happily pay, an extra grand, $1,500 for perforated and especially ventilated seats. That said, though, these seats are very comfortable. I think you could settle in for a nice long road trip and be pretty happy. The center armrest is pretty good. It's not the most soft thing in the world, but it feels good. The armrest to your left is also good. It's just a nice, cruiser. It's just a great daily driver. The infotainment it's easy to use. Again, my only real complaint there is with the camera And I'm just surprised that it's not higher quality, considering there are other cameras that are even, you know, better for like the same price point. Anyway, that's going to sum up my week with this. I've really enjoyed my time with this Corolla Cross. Huge thanks to Toyota for sending it out. I think this was such a no-brainer for Toyota to do. I mean, the Corolla is already great. Why not just like maximize on so much of what makes the platform and the car so good, and make it into something that, you know, especially Americans are buying up, which is SUVs and crossovers. And well, here you go. So you kind of know what to expect with this. If you're interested in the Corolla Cross, be sure to check out kslcars.com. There are lots of these listed on there right now, and I'm sure you could find something new or used that would fit the bill. So until next time, guys, thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all of it. If you've bought one of these, let us know in the comments how you're liking it and why you bought it. And if you bought something else, let us know why you decided on something else. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope this helps someone out there looking for a Corolla Cross or similar vehicle. And we'll talk to you later. See you guys.